First up, Apple. We talk about this one a lot on the Hot Stocks show. It sells consumer electronics, computer software, and personal computers. And of course, the watches. It is the world's most valuable company with a market cap of $746 billion, a PE ratio of 17.15, and a dividend yield of 1.72%. So I want to mostly focus on the Apple Watch.
Yeah,
Apple
because you have one.
Because I have one, yes. Through Discovery, by the way.
Okay.
They're pretty secretive about their numbers on the watch,
Yeah.
but there's lots of sort of estimations and guesses about out there at the moment. And the general consensus is they already have about 50% of the wearable devices market share.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, their watch has been done exceptionally well, and the take-up in the US has been especially strong. Even in South Africa, I'll say about 1 out of every 10 people I know own an Apple Watch. Most of it is through Discovery. But it really has disrupted the wearables market generally, and even the luxury goods market. I know the guys at Hermes have been very, very nervous about it. They brought out a similar type of device. The guys at Richemont obviously also taking notice of this. And yeah, I mean, take-up has been very good. You can even take a little photo with your camera over there with your Apple Watch. I mean, how insane is that?
Yeah, no, it really is fantastic. And then, of course, the collaboration with the phone.
Absolutely.
You know, you could have your phone in silence, you feel the vibration on your wrist, and you don't miss calls, you get messages, and so on. Sometimes it can be a little invasive because you're always in touch with everything.
Yeah.
But in terms of fitness, I do feel like there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah.
It obviously came out as a multi-purpose watch, but I think a big portion of watch users or smartwatch users want it as a fitness device.
Yeah, it's not as sensitive as something like a Fitbit or a Garmin or even a Polar watch. So there is definitely room for improvement. I mean, sometimes I've heard of people, they've gone for a very, very long 10-kilometer run, and the watch tells them that they've only done 200 meters. So these things they definitely can improve on. But the nice thing about this is with every generation of Apple Watch that Apple's going to bring out, it's probably going to be the same story as with the phones. You've got an iPhone 5, you upgrade to a 6, you upgrade to a 7, and now you're waiting for the 8, right? And if they can do the same trade-in type of story that they're doing with the phones, I think that they can really kind of keep that market with new devices.
I know a battery is an issue with the Apple Watch.
Yes.
I mean, some of the Garmins, which we'll talk about later, you can go for a month without charging. These Apple Watches, you need to charge every 2 days. I mean, Paul actually mentioned he ran the 2 oceans and his Apple Watch went flat during the race.
Oh, wow.
But maybe Paul just needs to run a little faster.
2 hours, 2 oceans, I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, this is another way that they can improve. I mean, we've already seen a big improvement in the battery life of the iPhones, so perhaps they can utilize the same technology and kind of way of thinking in order to improve the watch technology, because obviously the Apple Watch is a generation 1 type of device, so it still has a lot of room for improvement. Battery life is just one of them, but obviously they're not going to make massive further inroads in terms of market share if they can't pick up on that battery life.
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes their software, the actual fitness software isn't the best compared to Strava and the likes.
Yeah.
On the back of that, we know how Apple always takes what others have done first and makes it better. Hot or not on Apple?
So Apple's an interesting one. It's actually done very well over 1 year, but it's been very weak over the last month or so. That doesn't look like there was any weakness, just a little dip.
Just a tiny dab at the end there.
So the last week has been very weak. But that brings the month-to-date number a little bit down. They're trading on a forward P of about 19 times. It doesn't look as expensive as it did in the past. But as you say, we don't really know what's happening with the Apple Watch at the moment. They didn't bring out a new iPhone as expected at their last product launch. And iPhone sales are trending down as the smartphone market becomes more penetrated. And they're also struggling to gain traction in emerging markets where there's still penetration left. So it's a difficult one, but it's a very, very good company. And
hot or not?
Oh, I'm going to go for hot.
I agree with you there. I think I think expectations are for that phone to come out later on in the year. And it is still all about the phone with Apple, but the software business is growing nicely. So I think there's lots of moving parts with Apple, but still hot and exciting.
I'm getting an iPhone 8 because I still have an iPhone 5 and it's embarrassing.
There's your endorsement. It's about time.